What's good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in the building with another banger, man. So first things first, before we go ahead and get started with this video, I just want to go ahead and say thank you, God, for giving me this opportunity. And man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Anybody who wants to join the Rich Gang family, be sure to go ahead and turn on post notifications so that way you can see when I'm uploading every single day. Be sure to go ahead and hit that like button, and do not forget to leave a comment down below when complete. So for this first build that I got lined up for y'all, I am bringing y'all the top 3 most rare unseen lockdown defender / two-way builds on NBA 2K22 current gen. And first up, I got the two-way tempo pusher. Now, when it comes down to the breakdown of the pie chart, I'm going to go with the one split right down the middle with the defense as well as the playmaking with it. Then from there, this physical profile really comes down to the way that you want to build this exact archetype. So for my liking, what I'm going to go ahead and do is pick the one with a 91 speed, 52 strength, 90 acceleration with an 88 vertical. Now, once we go ahead and get into the breakdown of these stats, just please be sure to follow through. Now for the finishing, we're going to max out the first 3 categories, then go with the post hook of 46, and that's going to allow us to get a total of 10 finishing badges. Now when it comes down to the breakdown of the shooting, we're going to be able to also maintain a total of 10 badges. Then once we go ahead and get into the playmaking, here is where things are only going to continue to get even more special. So as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and put that pass accuracy to a 71, 88 ball handle, and that's going to give us a total of 13 playmaking badges. Now, when it comes down to what we're going to be looking like on the defensive end, this is really all based on your own preference as well as with what you want to do. So for my liking, I'm going to have to say that the best way possible to go about making this build, in my opinion, is easily going to be making it as we did, with a good amount of defensive badges, solid on the playmaking, and still the same can be said for the finishing and shooting. When it comes down to the height on this build, you actually have a few different heights that you can actually pick. So if you feel like going with anything other than what I do show y'all today, just know all you have to do is make sure you are adjusting your weight and wingspan in order to maintain that build name that you want to get. However, for my liking, I definitely have to go ahead and say, if you do decide to go about making this build differently, the main thing that I do want y'all to focus on is if you are getting that threshold of an 81 driving dunk, because once you do max this build out to a full complete 99 overall, you're going to be able to get all of the contact dunks unlocked. And that is the only reason why I say, please be sure to just continue to follow along with what I bring y'all, and I promise you everything is going to be working out in your favor. But now let's go ahead and check out the build name. And as y'all can see, like I said, the two-way tempo pusher with a comparison of LaMelo Ball. Now let's go ahead and get into the second build that I got lined up for y'all, and from here things are about to take a quick turn. Now what I mean by that is, if you are going to be looking to make more rare lockdown builds, these next 2 are very special that I got lined up for y'all. One is going to be called a point forward but with lockdown takeover. The second one is also going to be able to be called a lockdown, but we are calling this build a playmaking shot creator with the lockdown takeover. Makes a huge difference when it comes down to making this build, which is the reason why I had to go ahead and put these next 2 builds on this list. Because of their rarity, I do not see anybody in the park using them, and honestly, I'm starting to think it's because people do not even know about these builds. So for these next 2, just know, more so importantly, I got y'all with some fire bangers, so be ready to sit back, relax, and enjoy. And if you're still here watching, man, we're about to get more than halfway through the video, and y'all still have not hit that like button, so go ahead and do me a favor, hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe so you can join the Rich Gang family. Be sure to turn on post notifications, and from there you're going to be all set. Now let's go ahead and get into the making of this build. So the first thing that you want to go ahead and do is put it with the pie chart of the playmaking and the shooting. And yes, we are going to be able to still maintain that lockdown takeover. So however you go about it on the physical profile, for my liking, I'm going to go with the one with an 87 speed, 86 acceleration with a 64 vertical. Now, this is only the way that I like to make it. If you feel like going about this a different way, you definitely can, but again, you are risking changing the build name, and that is just something that I do not want happening to y'all. So, when it comes down to the breakdown of the finishing, I'm going to go with an 80 driving layup as well as a driving dunk of 64. Now, once we go ahead and get into the breakdown of the playmaking, I'm going to go with an 88 pass accuracy, 87 ball handle, and a 62 post control. Now, when it comes down to what the badges are looking like, I'm telling you, one badge for the finishing, but we're still going to be able to get some pretty solid dunks unlocked. Then 17 for the shooting, as well as a total of 24 for the playmaking. And as you can see, you can even adjust the shooting to getting even more than up to 18 badges. Now, for the defensive end, I'm liking with the 10 badges how that's looking. If you do decide to go about this differently, just be very careful because I want y'all to still maintain that lockdown takeover. Now, once we go ahead and get into the breakdown of what we're going to be looking like on the height for this build, this is a key factor. So, for my liking, just to be safe and get the best possible defensive stats, what I would go ahead and do is really be sure that you're picking exactly with what I'm showing y'all. Now, as you can see, you can go anywhere, possibly from 6'2 to 6'5. If you feel like going anything smaller than what I'm showing y'all, that is definitely okay. It really just comes down to the way that you want to break this build down. So right here, as you can see, you definitely want to go ahead and make sure you're picking the correct numbers, because then you're not going to be able to get that lockdown takeover like I'm bringing it to y'all. So just know there are multiple ways going about making each and every one of these builds, and I just want to put y'all on so you know that beforehand of making them. So, as you can see, I'm going back and forth with the wingspans on these builds just to make sure that I'm able to maintain that lockdown takeover, as well as show y'all how you can go about making this build in a multitude of different ways. Now, for my liking, if you really wanted to, you can go with an 85.0 wingspan. That's going to give us the park dunks that we want unlocked once we get to 99 overall. And as y'all can see, we have made the most rare playmaking shot creator with a lockdown takeover. Now, for those of you who are still watching, we are more than halfway through the video and y'all still have not hit that like button. So what I need y'all to go ahead and do is that exactly. Hit that like button, hit that sub button, join the family, and leave a comment down below. Do not be shy. All are welcome to join, and I just need y'all to know that more importantly, I am thankful for the process of you guys being along with me on this journey when it comes down to uploading every single day and the YouTube journey. And one thing that I do want to share with y'all, do one thing today in order to be ahead tomorrow and a better version of yourself. We just got to continue to beat the versions of ourselves from yesterday, and I promise you that is the only competition that you should be having in life. Now, when it comes down to this build, we're going to be going with the full playmaking pie chart, and yes, we're still going to be able to get that lockdown takeover. For the physical profile, what I decided to go with is going to be the one with an 87 speed as well as with a 51 strength, 85 acceleration with a 68 vertical. Now, once we go ahead and get into the breakdown of this build, we're going to be able to get a little bit of badges in each and every area. So for the finishing, I made this version of the build to get it to where I have 4 total finishing badges, but I have seen a point forward with contact dunks before. Now, once we go ahead and get into the shooting, you're going to be able to see exactly what this build is going to be able to do on all ends of the floor. So, with a 77 mid-range as well as a 72 three-pointer, I'm telling you, this build is really going to be able to do a little bit of everything, especially when you consider adding boost to this build. Now, for my liking, this is what I'm comfortable with, going with a total of 11 shooting badges. For the playmaking, you can actually make this build to where you're getting up to 30 total badges. But for mine, I'm going to go ahead and make it to where I get 27. Going 30 is going to be a little bit of overkill, and I want to be able to spread the wealth to the defensive area, so that way I am sure with how I want to go about making this build. Now, when it comes down to the defensive end, this is the most crucial part in order to maintain that lockdown takeover. So what you want to go ahead and do is just make sure that when it comes down to it, you go ahead and max out that interior defense, because you will be playing on the inside. Perimeter defense, lateral quickness, steal, block, defensive rebound, and then from there, go ahead and put the rest into your offensive rebound, and we're going to be all set to go. Now, If you do decide to go about the numbers differently, remember that it's definitely okay. You just got to be sure to maintain some certain stats in order to maintain the lockdown takeover as well as with the point forward name. Now let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of what we're going to be looking like on the hype for this build. Now this is all really based off of my own preference, but I'm going to make this build to where I'm going to be 6'7". When it comes down to the weight, you definitely want to go ahead and put on the lowest possible threshold to get the maximum speed. And with this build, we're going to be able to get over a 98 speed. Honestly, I'm just going to go ahead and say it's going to be a 99 speed. But if you want to be specific, go ahead and just call it a 98. But now, let's go ahead and check out the wingspan. This is what's going to put everything together. With this build, we are also going to be able to maintain park dunks, which in my opinion is going to be the best thing about it. So, let's just go ahead and say, if you do decide to go on about making this build differently, look at the takeovers we're able to get with how I made it. We get the shot creating, which is going to allow us to break ankles. Then, of course, you do get that lockdown, but then you also got to consider what you're going to be looking like with the slashing and the playmaking takeover. I'm going to leave it up to y'all, but as you can see, the third build on this list, we have made the point forward. And man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Anybody who wants to join the Rich Gang family, be sure to go ahead and turn on post notifications. Hit that like button, and man, just go ahead and drop a comment down below when complete. I love y'all and I thank y'all. Thank you, God, for giving me this opportunity. And man, with all that being said, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.